Well, like I said, I'm here to talk about my experience on how vibe coding helped me achieve the goal that was given to me, which is building a platform for the sales team so they can quote faster, and we have all the internal data to track the performance of the salesman, and also have data to know which SKUs are moving better and in which areas. So basically, like I said, I'm not a programmer. I studied marketing. My experience is mostly on events and social media, some graphic design. Also, I teach in the university I graduated from, which is called CEDIM. It's a design center university. They teach design thinking. I don't know if you guys have heard of that framework, which helps you understand the person before developing the solution. So you actually do stuff that works for the target. And I do have like little coding experience. I went into some C++ classes in college, and there I learned programming was not on my strong side. I also, in COVID, got a little bit into Bootstrap Studio and programmed the web page for the company I was working for. And the old reliable, which I know is not the fastest one, but when you are working with clients that are not that tech savvy and just want stuff to work, WordPress does the job. I understand it's not like the fastest, the best solution, but if I'm not tech savvy and the client is not tech savvy and we need to like maintain the site, WordPress is the easier way. And well, like I said, the problem was that we have right now more than 2,000 products. This is a refrigeration company. So we have freezers, refrigerators, we have vertical ones, different doors, preparation tables, so all the types of refrigeration that you need in your restaurant. So basically, the main goal was to extract all this information and based on PDFs that the company gave me. But the problem is those PDFs, even if you open them in Acrobat and try to edit them, they were like weirdly in squares. Like, I don't know if they did that for like copying purposes or something, but I tried a lot of methods to extract this information without it being like 100% correct. I know that number of commits is way too much. Oh, sorry. I didn't know that, since I don't know programming, I didn't know I didn't have to commit everything I do, or I did. But now I'm learning more and more about how to be more professional about it and be more efficient. But yeah, this has been basically the steps of the last 8 months that I've been through. I started with Streamlit and Supabase just to have like the MVP. It was a single page, single like 3,000 line file, just to have like the proof that this could work. So I did that. Then my boss was like, hey, we need accurate information in that database. So I tried to do the extraction, which was a pretty interesting learning curve. Because there's a lot of tools you can use to extract, but the right combination is what is like the real challenge. So after that, I was told by my programmer friends to not touch Flutter, and I used Flutter, and then I understood it has its downsides. So basically, it might be all that I'm talking about. I'm probably wrong because I'm not a programmer, but I tried everything I was told to try. So I didn't like Flutter that much. I did like Firebase though, but a backend programmer explained to me the difference of usage of Firebase and my SQL and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, so this works right now, but if we extend the users, we extend the products, it gets a lot of usage, is not the more optimal thing. Then I changed Flutter to use JavaScript, Next.js, and Supabase, and this was like the best breakthrough I had without like actual hands-on help, because the app was faster, it looked better, and I actually did some quality control with humans. So the user experience was being like really tailored. It wasn't just like this web page and that's it and just use it. I was trying to actually give a good user experience. So I was doing really good progress, but then right now a senior engineer is helping us build this. So there I understood like I was doing everything wrong, everything. But it's been a really good learning curve, and I really like it. I'm not really good sitting in front of a screen programming, but I love like the part of understanding the user and building the plan. Like, what does this user needs? So basically, like I said, I tried PDF Plumber, Tesseract, EasyOCR. Also, I tried some AI models run locally in a 16 gigabyte 5060 Ti, which were OCR. They didn't work 100%. I also used rule-based parsing and regex. So the problem is, since I had 2,000 plus SKUs, and this information is crucial. It has to be 100% right, because if you tell your client some SKU is one type of measurement and they build their restaurant to those specs, and then they receive the equipment and it's 1-2 inches shorter or longer, it can cause you a lot of problems. And in this business, business to business in the restaurant industry, they really like to gossip, so it's like you shoot yourself in the foot for not being diligent with your information. So, and I'm aware these tools actually work, but since I'm a one-man team and needed to build this MVP really fast, it was like 50-50. I think that thing I told you about the PDFs, that they were like divided in squares. I don't know why. And also that I'm a noob at this. I think those two things like didn't let me like really take advantage of these tools. But then I tried using Lava 13b in the running locally, and I didn't achieve 100% accuracy, but I was really close to it. And then my boss was like, okay, it's okay that we have this information as is right now. I need you to work on the front end so we can show it to the owners. And I was like, okay, so this is good enough. And we continue to work. What actually worked for me was using Cloud Code Vision AI. And I know it's not the more optimal stuff, but it's really accurate. And also, I had this experience where you basically leave this Cloud Vision AI scanning, and you ran out of tokens. So it was a really painful process. You have to wait 2 hours, okay? Let me wait 2 hours to scan the next 800 PDFs. Let's go. So, but it was 100% accurate. I ran the extraction, then I tested like 30 different SKUs, and they were all 100% accurate. So the time was not a factor, because I saw it was 100% accuracy in extraction. And basically, as a non-coder, this is my process. This is how I have been building this app. First, you have to understand the problem. That's like half of the job. If you don't understand the problem, whatever you do, it doesn't matter if you're consistent, doesn't matter you have the best experts, doesn't matter. You have to first understand what you want to do. Then what I did is present it to AI. Hey, I want to do an app. What programming language should I use? And then AI gave me options, and then I researched those options to see what fitted better, and then feed it again to AI with that context, and then start it from there. Trial and error. So this is basically like the process I have been using. Talking about models, I started with ChatGPT. Then DeepSeek was like, hey, we can give you this, but for free. And I was like, oh, cool. And I really like DeepSeek, but I started, Twitter is like my main information source for all the AI related content. And I really like it because you can actually see like stuff evolving day by the actual source of the people that are doing it. And you don't have to wait like a week or 3 days for a media company to make an article of it. So I guess all of you guys are there. It's a really good tool, and I really recommend it. And to finish this point, since it was trial and error, each migration taught me something. And my mentality is, was that it's not a wasted effort. I'm not achieving 100% what I wanted, but I'm learning. I'm learning what I don't want to do, and that's valuable to me. The other part that I know, that's my fault, the first one. The second one was like, what is happening? Basically, Cloud Code kept breaking things that worked. I did use the CloudMD file. I did use different best practices. I investigated them. But for some weird reason, it kept breaking. At the point that it deleted my database twice. And it wasn't like some database-related prompt. Wasn't even that. But in Cloud's process, deleting the database seemed like plausible and like obligatory to complete its process. So I don't know what I did wrong the first time. It deleted it, then I was like, oh, this can't happen again. I had a backup, restored the backup, investigated about the rules. That's where I understood CloudMD and all the stuff. And then it did it again. And I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. But sometimes Cloud, you can use all the best practices and it will do whatever it wants, sometimes. So the solution for this, I developed this thing called Debra, is development brain. I figured the real problem is continuity and memory and context. That's the problem of AI. So basically, I saw the, what is it called? This new thing with the IMAX and the Claude, I think, the chat. So basically, I saw that and I was like, oh, this is going to solve my problem. I'm gonna use that tool. And then I actually dove in and saw that it was like it has really good usages. It wasn't solving my problem. So based on that, I developed this. It's basically files to track different things. I also use local embeddings with OLAMA and nomic embedded text for semantic search of the different areas of code inside the app. So if Cloud tries to change a file, I can ask it to do an impact analysis. So okay, if you move this part of this screen, it's gonna affect these other parts. So right now, that solved the continuity problem, because sometimes I did some changes in some pages, and then I ran into problems related to them. So that's my way to keep track and actually do changes. Yes? Do you have anything on a GitHub or anything that we can look at? This, I was uploading it yesterday. I will share it with you. And it's basically MDs to track everything. It's not like breakthrough technology or anything. It's just like the logic of it was I need to track everything. And I also have lessons database. So each time Cloud fixes something, it logs it. So if I need to fix that again, I can tell him, hey, we fixed that. sometime in the past, go search for the solution, and you can reference it, or basically reference it and see if it works for that situation. And I also use Anthropic tools, the hooks, custom skills, MCP servers. I also use E2E testing with Playwright. Since I'm a one-man team, I run automatized tests, which weren't like 100% accurate, but they did brought up major problems. And then I had to use a human, which was a friend of mine, and I was like, hey, you want to use my app and tell me what you think? Sure. So I grabbed his feedback and started doing those special changes I need to that weren't picked up by the E2E testing. So this helped me have continuity in my prompts and on my everyday work. Also, like I said, it doesn't matter if you build a guardrail. Sometimes Cloud is on psychedelics and imaginous things. So they do work, but in my situation, since I'm not that tech savvy, I attribute that to I might have wrongly set up these files. I admit that, but sometimes if you do everything right, Cloud doesn't care. So I did a little bit of investigation on why AI ignores your rules. First one, the old reliable. Context window fills up. You give a lot of context, and Cloud doesn't have time to read it all. Also, the task difficulty override rules. That's another thing. I learned to be patient because I used to build long-ass prompts with different types of changes across all the app. So I started being like, okay, let's start with this screen. And until I finish this, I have to do the other one. Because I thought AI was this programming god that was going to help me, and I just had to put 3 prompts and my work will be done. But obviously, that's not the case. Also, memory requires manual work. And even if you have everything, you have to remind Claude to use that information. So that's where I don't know what to do to automatize it efficiently. But given the changes Cloud has given me, I don't know if I want it to be that automatic, but it's something I'm trying to understand now, and that's why I'm here as a attendee too, to hear you guys and actually learn how it's done, right? Also, I read this tweet from Andrzej Karpathy, which is an OpenAI co-founder, and I think he was the lead guy for Tesla AI. And basically, he made a rant, and the conclusion of it was subtle conceptual errors that are slightly sloppy, hasty junior dev might do. Your AI is pretty useful, but you cannot leave it itself to do everything and expect quality code. And well, he's an expert on it, so I believe him. And basically, he went from 20% to 80% agentic coding, and the errors shifted from syntax to conceptual. So this dude is telling us that AI is helpful, but humans are still the final quality layer of it. And well, a lot of things help. The Debra context management, hook scripts, MCP servers, fixed files, and custom skills. But I still haven't achieved true session continuity. I don't know if you guys know a tool to do that, but I would love to have something that actually gives you continuity. And in this latest stage, since a senior engineer joined the team, it's been a really good experience, and it basically changed my way on how to build apps. In my mind, it was oh yeah, front end, back end. In his mind, it's you have to have database 100% accurate first, because it's going to be the single source of truth. And that wasn't even a concept in my mind. So Now that I heard, it's like, oh, okay, it clicked. So I finally had someone who told me what I was doing wrong, and actually like guided me to where to read or what kind of subjects should I study to understand it. So I think as a non-programmer, you still need programmers. You might be able to do the daily work, but in the end, if you want to push it or you want to actually publish your work, you do need a human that knows what he's doing, filtering this thing. So basically, that's where we are. We still haven't finished this. Right now, we're like basically building it ground up with the user experience I designed. So it's been a great experience. I love it, and I think eventually, I got out of programming classes in college because I thought I didn't like it, but right now it's like pushing me to learn. So even if I didn't want to learn programming, trying to use Claude efficiently basically pushed me to learn programming. So here I am, and it's really cool. So in the end, my conclusion is don't create slop. Great tools require safe and diligent use. Also, be humble because, you know, there's always someone in the world doing it better than you, and you shouldn't take it as a threat. You should take it as someone you can study to grab those things and actually do an evolution on your knowledge. And also, the human is the quality layer, right? Right now. I guess the US government has like AI that doesn't need humans to interact with it, or maybe OpenAI has this level of AI, but in consumer level, we still have to have a human in the layer. And the presentation itself, I want to finish with I like rap, with this quote from a rapper, which is, si no hacen las cosas bien, de nada sirve la constancia. If you are doing it wrong, consistency is worthless. So basically, before you even touch a keyboard, strategize. And this is an ever-evolving like industry. So the other thing is be aware of what's happening on Twitter. And about that, I found 2 research papers and news from yesterday that I think they are relevant to this talk. First, Anthropic did this AI study where they sampled 52 professional developers with 1+ year Python experience. And basically, they investigated how the AI is making you more stupid, basically. So they tested both of the groups. One group used AI, the other group didn't. They gave both of them the same task. So in research, AI group scored 50% versus hand group coding 67%. So in numbers, AI hurt skill formation by 17%. So this is, I mean, I'm not a programmer, so I don't relate to this, but I think you guys as programmers should be aware that this could be a problem. And also for future generations to actually learn how to code and not just copy-paste stuff into Claude. The other thing is Alibaba, I think, made this other research study where they were trying to measure if AI can maintain code. And they found that after, I think, 8 months or 6 months, all the agents reduced their effectiveness. So that's the other big problem right now that I think AI companies are trying to solve, is actually having 100% effectiveness throughout the time. I will give the team a takeout files, so you will have all this information with you. And also, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, someone? No? Well, basically, Cloud Code can now audit your code, but they're like, yeah, we're gonna charge you between 15 and 25 bucks per iteration to, well, give you feedback about your code. But in my mind, it's like, I'm paying you $200 a month for a product that you're selling another complementary product to fix the first one. So in my mind, this like kind of don't make sense. But just so you know, this is happening. And well, I want to thank you guys for listening to me. I wish you guys help more non-programmers get involved in this kind of stuff. And thank you very much for listening, and rest in peace, affordable RAM. I was going to buy another 32 gigabytes of DDR4. It was going to be like 100 bucks, but now it's like 250. So thank you, Sam. Thank you very much.
We're gonna have time for about 3 questions. If the audience wants to ask any questions.
Yes?
When you started off, did you start off with the cheaper subscription models, or did you start off with a pro plan right away?
Nah. Basically, my signal was, we don't have money, but you have this opportunity, do whatever you can. And I was like, okay. And right now, the 2 hours I have to wait with Claude doesn't compare to when I started, which was like every half an hour, and I had to wait another half an hour, and then, so yeah. Yes?
For the use case of scanning an OCR, what's the use case, and why do you compute locally?
I computed locally because it sounded cool, basically. But yeah, I just quickly tested all the types of extraction I could find. So my error was not like profundizing in one to actually learn it, because I was trying to like have the MVP ready, but that's a really good question.
And was it, it's smart to do it locally to a prototype. Is it for menus or like ingredients and recipes?
It's basically spec sheets. So we have 2-page spec sheets with technical drawings, which were outside of all this scan thing. My main issue were tables and basically text in like bullet points. And the actual like tricky thing was the measurements, because they were like, 12 inches and a half. So that half was like, I had to like adjust it to actually extract it correctly, but then I used Claude Code Vision AI and made everything easier. Thank you. Yes?
Any tips on building out the database, like before you get started, on how you, for any product, I guess, that you're looking to build? Like, I guess the overall structure of that knowledge base.
Well, in the technical side, I cannot like give you a good tip. On the like human planning side, I think you have to analyze like the levels of information you have, so you can actually, before you start coding, you can actually like understand why the database is built that way with that kind of type of coding language and everything. So as a non-programmer, first understand what is happening and what you are using, and then you start asking the technical questions to people that actually know what they're doing. And that's my tip and how I did it. So slowly I've been learning about backend, but it's way too much for me. But I still have to learn it, because I do want to not just build slop. I actually want to build something that the company can actually use. And I think that's like being diligent with your database is the best tip I can give you. Any more questions? Excellent. Thank you very much.